Welcome to my channel, Lobby 22. Hold on because it's going to be something incredible. Mark Thompson, a 38-year-old software engineer, thought he had it all: a thriving tech startup in Seattle, a cozy suburban home, and a solid marriage to Claire, his 36-year-old wife of 9 years. No kids by choice. After Mark's vasectomy 3 years ago, Claire stopped her birth control and they poured their love into Max, a scruffy terrier they called their baby. Their life seemed perfect, a well-oiled machine of shared routines and quiet evenings. But on a crisp Tuesday morning, a glint on the kitchen floor shattered that illusion. Mark paused, coffee mug in hand, as sunlight caught a tiny foil circle near the sink. It was the kind from a pill pack labeled Wednesday. His pulse quickened. Neither he nor Claire took daily meds. He knelt, picking it up, the metallic edge cold against his fingers. The foil was blank on one side, but the word Wednesday stared back, taunting him. Was it stray packaging? Or something more? Mark's engineering mind, honed by years of debugging code, demanded answers. He glanced at their wedding photo on the counter, Claire's smile now tinged with doubt. Claire was already at work, her marketing director role keeping her busy. Lately, she'd been staying late, citing client dinners. Mark hadn't thought much of it. Her job was demanding and he trusted her. But the foil nodded him. They'd agreed no kids, and after his vasectomy, Claire had no reason to take birth control. Had she started again? If so, why? The question lodged in his chest, sharp as the foil's edge. He pocketed it, careful not to disturb the scene, and stood by the window watching rain streak the glass. Mark's thoughts spiraled. Claire's recent changes, new perfume, a floral scent that clung to her coat, her phone angled away when she texted, felt trivial before but now loomed large. Was she hiding something? He shook off the thought, feeling foolish. They'd built a life together, weathered startup stress and family pressures. But the foil was a glitch in their system and Mark couldn't ignore it. He needed data, not assumptions. At Nexus Tech, his startup, Mark sat at his desk, the foil in his pocket like a ticking bomb. His CFO, Sarah, popped in, her sharp eyes catching his distraction. "Everything okay, Mark?" she asked, her tone steady but curious. He nodded, forcing a smile, but her question lingered. Sarah had always been his rock at work, catching details others missed. Had she noticed something about Claire? He pushed the thought aside and opened his laptop, searching for discrete tools, micro cameras, phone cloning software, even a DNA kit for Max, just to rule out any bizarre connections. Guilt pricked him. Spying on his wife felt wrong, but the foil demanded answers. Back home, Mark installed a tiny camera in the kitchen hidden behind a spice rack. Another one in the living room tucked into a bookshelf. He hesitated at the bedroom but placed one there too, above the doorframe. Each click of the setup felt like a betrayal of their vows, but doubt overrode his remorse. Claire returned that evening, her smile bright as she tossed Max a treat. "Long day?" she asked, kissing Mark's cheek. Her perfume hit him again, unfamiliar and sharp. "Yeah," he mumbled, watching her closely. She seemed normal, too normal. That night, Mark lay awake, Claire's steady breathing beside him. The foil burned in his mind. Was it birth control? If so, it meant she feared pregnancy, not with him. The thought twisted his gut. He recalled a text he'd glimpsed on her phone, thanking Jake, their friendly neighbor, for dinner. Was it innocent or a clue? Mark's methodical nature took over. He'd check the cameras tomorrow, clone her phone if needed. He wasn't ready to confront her, not without proof. But as he stared at their wedding photo on the nightstand, its frame catching the moonlight, he felt the first crack in the life he'd built. Whatever the foil meant, Mark would uncover the truth, no matter how much it hurt. Mark Thompson's world teetered on the edge of a tiny foil scrap, its Wednesday label burning a hole in his pocket. The 38-year-old software engineer sat in his Seattle office at Nexus Tech, the startup he'd built from sleepless nights and endless code. The foil, found on his kitchen floor, was a glitch in his marriage to Claire, his wife of 9 years. Was it birth control? If so, why was she taking it after his vasectomy? The question gnawed at him, a bug in the system of their life together. He needed proof, not paranoia. Mark's desk was a fortress of logic, monitors, spreadsheets, a half-drunk coffee, but his mind churned with doubt. Claire's recent late nights, her new floral perfume, the way she tilted her phone away when texting, these were data points, not just quirks. He glanced at their wedding photo, propped beside his keyboard, Claire's smile now a question mark. Last night, he'd installed microcameras in their home, kitchen, living room, bedroom, each click a stab of guilt. But the foil demanded answers, and Mark, ever the engineer, trusted evidence over emotion. At Nexus Tech, Sarah, his CFO, noticed his distraction. "Mark, you're a million miles away," she said, leaning against the doorframe, her sharp eyes scanning him. Sarah, 40, was all business, her no-nonsense demeanor a lifeline in the chaos of startup life. She'd once mentioned Claire's odd late-night calls at the office, a passing comment Mark now clung to. "Just a tough morning," he replied, forcing a grin. Sarah raised an eyebrow but didn't press, leaving him to his thoughts. Her observation lingered. Had she seen something he'd missed? Mark opened a private browser and ordered discrete tools. A phone cloning kit, more cameras, and a voice recorder small enough to hide in Claire's car. He hesitated over a DNA kit for their dog, Max, then added it to the cart. The idea felt absurd, testing a terrier for what? But Claire's claim that Max was a shelter rescue now seemed shaky. Every detail was a potential clue. He routed the packages to his office to avoid Claire's questions, his hands trembling as he hit purchase. Spying on his wife felt like crossing a line, but trust was crumbling. That evening, Claire was her usual self, tossing Max a treat and chatting about work. "Client dinner tomorrow," she said, her floral scent filling the kitchen. Mark nodded, his eyes flicking to her purse, where her phone buzzed. "Jake again?" he asked, testing the waters, recalling the vague dinner text from their neighbor. Claire laughed. "Just a work thing, group dinner." Her casual tone didn't waver, but Mark's gut twisted. Was Jake a distraction, or the key? After Claire showered, Mark slipped into the garage, planting the voice recorder under her car seat. His heart raced, the hum of the water masking his movements. Back in bed, he stared at the ceiling, the wedding photo on the nightstand mocking him. Claire's breathing was steady, but Mark's mind raced. If she was hiding something, the cameras would catch it. If not, he'd dismantle them and bury this doubt. But a whisper in his head, Sarah's comment about Claire's calls, kept him awake. The next morning, Claire left for work, her perfume lingering. Mark worked from home, claiming a coding sprint. Alone, he checked the camera footage on his laptop. The kitchen feed was a punch to the chest. Claire, at 7 a.m., popped a pill from a blister pack, tucking it into a drawer. Birth control, no question. His vision blurred, the room tilting. Why would she need it? He rewound, watching again, her movements deliberate, secretive. The living room camera showed nothing unusual, just Claire playing with Max. But the bedroom feed was blank, the camera offline. A glitch or tampering. Mark's phone pinged. "Sarah, checking in. Heard Claire was on a call last night." Sounded intense. "You sure you're okay?" His stomach dropped. Sarah's instincts were razor-sharp. She'd caught Claire's late-night habits before he had. He texted back, "All good, just focused." But he wasn't. He drove to the office, the foil in his pocket like a shard of glass. There, he cloned Claire's phone using the kit, his hands steady despite the adrenaline. The data loaded, work emails, texts to friends, a thank you to Jake for watching Max. Nothing damning, too clean. Back home, Mark checked the bedroom camera. It was unplugged, the cord tucked behind the dresser. His breath caught. Claire knew or suspected he was watching. He reset the camera, his mind racing. Was she covering her tracks? Or was he paranoid, seeing betrayal where there was none? He needed the secret phone Sarah's comment hinted at. He searched the bedroom, his fingers brushing the air vent. A loose screw caught his eye. Heart pounding, he grabbed a screwdriver, the metal grate cool against his skin. Inside, a phone, old, cheap, hidden. Claire's secret. He powered it on, the screen lighting up with a password prompt. Mark froze, the wedding photo on the nightstand staring back. He had one shot to crack this or lose everything. Mark Thompson's hands shook as he held the secret phone, its dim screen glowing in the shadowed bedroom. The air vent where he'd found it, hidden behind a loose screw, felt like a betrayal as sharp as the foil scrap that started this nightmare. The 38-year-old Seattle software engineer had trusted Claire, his wife of 9 years, until a pill pack labeled Wednesday upended his world. Now, with cameras installed and her phone cloned, Mark stood on the edge of truth. The wedding photo on the nightstand mocked him, Claire's smile a fading lie. The secret phone demanded a password. Mark's mind raced. Claire's birthday? Their anniversary? He tried Max 123, their dog's name with a simple code. The screen unlocked, and his pulse hammered. Texts loaded, each one a dagger. Missed you at the hotel, one read from a contact labeled D. Another, Mark's clueless. Max loves you. The words burned. D was David Harper, Claire's boss at her marketing firm. The messages detailed secret meetings, stolen moments, a relationship woven into their life. Max, their scruffy terrier, wasn't a shelter rescue. David had gifted him, a cruel mockery of their family. Mark's vision blurred, the room tilting as he scrolled. A text from last week, careful, he's asking about Jake. Jake, the neighbor Mark had suspected after a vague text, was a decoy. Claire had played him, deflecting suspicion while hiding her affair with David. His stomach churned. The kitchen camera had already confirmed Claire was taking birth control, slipping pills from a blister pack each morning, stashing them in a drawer. After his vasectomy, she had no reason to unless she feared pregnancy with someone else. David. He sank onto the bed, the phone heavy in his hand. The bedroom camera, unplugged yesterday, was back online, but now he wondered, had Claire tampered with it, sensing his surveillance? Or was it a glitch? He needed more. Mark slipped the phone back into the vent, his hands steady despite the adrenaline. Claire was still at work, but time was short. He raced to his office at Nexus Tech, the foil scrap in his pocket a constant reminder. Sarah, his CFO, caught his eye as he entered. You look like hell, she said, her tone sharp but concerned. Sarah had flagged Claire's late-night calls weeks ago, a hint Mark had ignored. Now, her instincts were his lifeline. Sarah, I need you to keep this quiet, Mark said, voice low. He shared the foil, the pills, the secret phone, enough to explain his distraction without baring his soul. Her eyes narrowed. I overheard Claire on a call last month laughing about a private meeting. I thought it was work. She paused, guilt flickering. I should have said more. Mark shook his head. You're helping now. Sarah nodded, her resolve firm. What's the plan? Mark outlined his next steps, clone the secret phone's data, check the voice recorder in Claire's car, and consult a lawyer. Sarah suggested Rachel, a divorce attorney she trusted from her own messy split. Mark cloned the secret phone's data to a spare device, his fingers flying over the software. The texts confirmed the affair spanned months, maybe years. One message chilled him, if Mark digs, I'll handle it. Handle it how? Was Claire planning to gaslight him, or worse? He checked the car's voice recorder, retrieving it while Claire was at a client dinner. The audio was damning, Claire's voice, soft and intimate, speaking to David. He's asking about Jake, but he's got nothing. Let's meet Friday, usual spot. Mark's blood ran cold. Friday was tomorrow. He drove home, the wedding photo on the counter a punch to the gut. Claire returned late, her floral perfume sharp. Good dinner? Mark asked, his voice neutral. She smiled, oblivious. Yeah, just work stuff. Her lie was seamless, but Mark saw through it. He checked the bedroom camera that night, finding new footage. Claire, after her shower, retrieving the secret phone, typing quickly, then hiding it back in the vent. She glanced at the camera's spot, hesitating, as if sensing its presence. Mark's heart raced. She was careful, but not careful enough. The next morning, Sarah met him at a coffee shop away from Nexus Tech's walls. I dug into David, she said, sliding him a printout. David Harper, 45, married, a high-level executive at Claire's firm. His LinkedIn boasted awards, but Sarah had found whispers of a non-fraternization policy violation from years back. He's slippery, she warned. But his company won't tolerate this. Mark nodded, a plan forming. He called Rachel, the attorney, scheduling a meeting for Monday. Rachel's voice was calm but firm. If you've got evidence, we can file for divorce and hit them where it hurts, legally. Mark returned home, the secret phone's texts looping in his mind. Claire was out walking Max. He checked the vent again, ensuring the phone was untouched. A new text had arrived, Mark's acting weird. Be ready. His throat tightened. Claire was onto him or close. He needed one final piece of evidence to seal the case. Tomorrow, he'd tail her client dinner, camera in hand, to catch her with David. The wedding photo stared at him, its frame catching the light. Mark turned it face down, ready to unravel Claire's lies, no matter the cost. Mark Thompson gripped the steering wheel, his eyes fixed on the hotel parking lot across the Seattle street. The tiny foil scrap that sparked this nightmare, a pill pack labeled Wednesday, had led him here, tailing his wife, Claire, to her client dinner. The secret phone, its texts exposing her affair with her boss, David Harper, burned in his memory. Mark's acting weird. Be ready, Claire had texted David. The 38-year-old software engineer wasn't just ready, he was done being played. Tonight, he'd catch them, camera in hand, to seal his case. The hotel's neon sign flickered as Claire's car pulled in. Mark's pulse raced. He adjusted the discreet camera on his dashboard, its lens trained on the entrance. Claire stepped out, her floral perfume replaced by a sleek black dress. Then David appeared, his executive swagger unmistakable. They embraced, oblivious to Mark's lens capturing every moment. The footage was gold, proof of their betrayal, time-stamped and clear. Mark's chest tightened, but he forced himself to focus. Emotion could wait, evidence couldn't. Back at Nexus Tech, his startup, Mark met Sarah, his CFO, in his office before dawn. Her sharp eyes scanned the footage. "This is airtight," she said, her voice steady. Sarah had been his rock, her early warnings about Claire's late-night calls now validated. "Rachel's ready," she added, referring to the divorce attorney. Mark nodded, the wedding photo on his desk now face down, a symbol of his resolve. He'd called Rachel yesterday, outlining the pills, the secret phone, and David's role. Her response was blunt: "We go nuclear, divorce for adultery, fraud, and a corporate complaint. But we need to protect your assets first." Rachel's office was a fortress of legal precision. "Your prenup shields Nexus Tech," she said, flipping through documents. "Claire can't touch the company, but your personal savings, house, 401k, those are vulnerable." Mark's mind raced. Nexus Tech supported 200 employees. He couldn't let Claire's betrayal tank their livelihoods. Rachel suggested a bold move: buy out his co-founder, Ethan, who'd hinted at selling, and funnel personal funds into the company. "It's a firewall," she said. "Legal, thanks to the prenup." Mark called Ethan, explaining the affair in a flat sentence. Ethan, stunned, agreed to sell 90% of his shares, keeping a small stake as a consultant. Papers were drawn by noon. Sarah coordinated the financial maneuver, transferring Mark's savings into Nexus Tech's accounts. "You're broke on paper," she said, a faint smile breaking her usual steal. "Claire won't see a dime." Mark felt a flicker of relief, but the secret phone's texts, "I'll handle it," haunted him. Was Claire planning something? He checked the voice recorder from her car, finding a new clip: Claire, whispering to David, "If he finds out, I'll leak his client list. Ruin him." Mark froze. Claire wasn't just cheating, she was plotting to sabotage his company. Sarah's eyes widened as she listened. "She's desperate," she said. "We need to act fast." Mark handed Rachel the footage, texts, and audio. "File the divorce," he said, voice steady despite the rage. "And hit David's company." Rachel nodded, drafting a complaint against David's firm for violating its non-fraternization policy. David, a married executive, had used his position to pursue Claire, a clear breach. Process servers were dispatched, one to Claire's desk, one to David's office, one to their HR department. At 10 a.m. Friday, the papers landed. Mark's phone pinged with confirmation. Claire's text followed: "Mark, we need to talk." He ignored it, letting Rachel handle her. Sarah uncovered another twist. Claire had emailed a competitor with Nexus Tech's client list, but the email bounced. Sarah's security protocols had blocked it. "She tried to burn you," Sarah said, her voice tight. "But we caught it." Mark's jaw clenched. Claire's desperation had backfired, giving him more ammunition. He reviewed new camera footage: Claire, frantic, checking the bedroom vent, finding the secret phone still there. She typed a message, unaware Mark had cloned it. "He knows. Meet me tonight." Mark forwarded it to Rachel, sealing Claire's fate. By evening, Mark sat in Rachel's office, finalizing the strategy. The divorce cited adultery and fraud, the corporate complaint aimed at David's job. "They'll both pay," Rachel said. "The company won't risk a scandal." Mark nodded, the weight of betrayal lifting slightly. Sarah joined them, her presence grounding. "You did the right thing," she said, her hand brushing his. The touch sparked something: hope, maybe? The wedding photo, now in a drawer, was a relic of a life Claire had shattered. Mark wasn't broken yet. He'd protect his company, his future, and expose every lie starting tonight. Mark Thompson sat in his Seattle loft, the city's skyline glinting through the window, a far cry from the suburban home he'd shared with Claire. The tiny foil scrap that sparked this unraveling, a pill pack labeled Wednesday, had led to this moment. Divorce papers filed, Claire's affair with her boss, David Harper, exposed, and his company, Nexus Tech, secured. The wedding photo, once a fixture on his nightstand, was gone, packed away with the life Claire had shattered. At 38, Mark was rebuilding, but one final twist awaited. The divorce filing hit Claire like a tidal wave. At 10 a.m. Friday, process servers delivered papers to her desk, David's office, and their company's HR department. Mark's evidence: camera footage of their hotel rendezvous, texts from Claire's secret phone, audio of her plotting to leak Nexus Tech's client list, was ironclad. Rachel, his attorney, had filed for divorce citing adultery and fraud alongside a complaint against David's firm for ignoring its non-fraternization policy. Claire's text came minutes later. "Mark, please, let's talk." He forwarded it to Rachel, his heart cold but steady. Sarah, his CFO, was his anchor. Her sharp instincts had caught Claire's email attempt to sabotage Nexus Tech, blocked by the company's security protocols. "She's desperate," Sarah had said, handing Mark a coffee in Rachel's office. "But you're untouchable now." Mark's prenup had shielded Nexus Tech, and his buyout of co-founder Ethan's shares had locked his wealth behind a legal firewall. Claire could claim his house or 401k, but the company supporting 200 employees was safe. Sarah's loyalty, her hand brushing his, sparked something new. Hope. By Monday, the fallout was swift. David, a married executive, was fired for violating company policy, his reputation in tatters. Claire lost her job, her marketing director title stripped as the firm scrambled to avoid a scandal. Their HR department settled with Mark, a hefty sum covering his financial maneuvers. Claire moved to her parents in Portland, her texts shifting from defiance to desperation. "I never meant to hurt you." Mark didn't reply. Rachel handled all communication, her strategy unrelenting. "They're done," she said. "Focus on you." Mark sold the house, taking a loss to erase the memories of Claire's lies. The secret phone hidden in the bedroom vent had revealed not just the affair but Max's origin, David's gift, not a shelter rescue. Mark kept Max, the scruffy terrier now his alone, a reminder of resilience. He moved into a downtown loft, its clean lines a fresh start. Sarah visited one evening, her usual steel softened. "You're free, Mark," she said, her eyes warm. "What's next?" He paused, the weight of betrayal lifting. "A new chapter," he said, smiling faintly. "Maybe a new dog, too." Then came the final twist. Rachel called, her voice tense. "Claire tried one last move," she said. "She filed a restraining order, claiming you harassed her." Mark's stomach dropped. Claire had spun a tale of emotional distress, painting him as the aggressor. But Rachel was ready. "Your cameras, texts, the failed email leak, it all proves her fraud." The judge tossed it. Claire's ploy collapsed, her credibility gone. The divorce finalized that week, the decree arriving in a plain envelope. Mark opened it, the words dissolved, a quiet victory. Sarah was there when he read it, her presence steady. "You deserve better," she said, her hand on his shoulder. Mark looked at her, really looked, for the first time in years. Sarah had been by his side, catching Claire's calls, saving Nexus Tech from her sabotage. "I've waited for you to see me," she admitted, her voice soft. "Not every woman lies." Mark's heart stirred, a spark he hadn't felt since Claire's betrayal. He'd researched vasectomy reversals, Dr. Clinton's words echoing. High success rate. Fatherhood wasn't off the table. Neither was love. They planned a trip to a local shelter, a symbolic fresh start. "A new pup," Sarah said, grinning. "One we choose together." Mark nodded, the loft's bare walls ready for new memories. Claire's lies had cost her everything, job, reputation, marriage, while David faced his own divorce. Mark, though scarred, was free. The foil scrap, the secret phone, the pain, they'd led him here, to a life untainted by deceit. As Sarah's laughter filled the room, Mark felt the future open wide, a blank code ready to be written.